It's that time of the week when I bring you more fantastic wrestling showdown, and what an historic episode we have for you this week. Why? I'll tell you in just a second. I'm sure by now you have seen our two W3L Network special editions of 7 Deadly Sins. If you haven't seen Night 2 yet, then it best cover your ears because there's spoilers heading your way. You ready? The tournament was won by none other than tenacious Johnny Lyons, who survived the toughest tournament in all of pro wrestling and got what was arguably the biggest victory of his W3L career. This means that he marches on to Resolution 12 later in the year to get that guaranteed heavyweight championship match in the main event of W3L's biggest show of the year. And speaking of the heavyweight title, as you'll have seen on our Night 2 Network Special Edition, Blondie Barrett managed to retain the heavyweight title against Mike Musso. I'm sure you knew about the DQ, changing hands rule. Well, Barrett got himself counted out, meaning he walked away with the championship firmly in his grasp yet again. However, for Mike Musso, this week there's the opportunity for even more gold. I said this would be a historic episode, and it is, because we are finally going to crown our first ever Wrestling Showdown Champion. We started the tournament early in the year, and it has come down to this. Mike Musso versus Dickie Divers. One of these men will become the first ever Wrestling Showdown Champion. They had mixed fortunes at 7 Deadly Sins weekend. They have put that behind them and are focusing squarely on this championship match. I should point out to you all that to preserve the integrity of this tournament final, the W3L management have taken the step of banning Taylor Bryden from the building this week, just in case he decided to try and get his hands on Dickie Divers. I'm sure you don't need to tell you about the issues between those two men. So one person is going to walk out as the brand new Wrestling Showdown Champion. It's Mike Musso or it's Dickie Divers. Who will make history? Let's find out by going down to ringside for this championship tournament final match.
With you for a historic match on Wrestling Showdown, because we're about to crown the first ever Wrestling Showdown Champion. You see referee Stevie Wizard, who I assume has dug his referee shirt and mothballs for the occasion, showing off the trophy that will go to the winner. Will it be Dickie Divers? Will it be Mike Musso? One of these men will become the first ever Wrestling Showdown Champion. And this is the culmination of a tournament that has been running for the best part of this year here in W3L management. And no rush to complete this, wanting to take their time, get the best participants, give them enough time to have the best matches. By and large, that is exactly what they did. And Dickie Divers overcame Big Dave Jeremy and Kevin Williams in his two tournament matches. Mike Musso overcame Johnny Lyons and Taylor Bryden in his two tournament matches. And of course, the stage is now set for Divers in the black and pink to take on Musso in the multicoloured tights. One of these men will become the first ever Wrestling Showdown Champion, and to jockey for position. We've wrestled a good few times before here in W3L, so they'll know exactly what each brings to the table. But it'll have a certain frisson to it, ladies and gentlemen, because you can only ever be the first ever first champion. There's only ever going to be one. And so one of these men will make history by holding the Wrestling Showdown Championship for the first time ever. And Musso currently in firm control of Divers' arm, wrenching away at it. Divers grabbing a handful of hair. Obviously no stranger to those kind of tactics. We haven't seen Divers here in Showdown since April, and it was in a tag team match, ironically facing Mike Musso. It was Musso and Vortex against Divers and Bryden, because that was the night where Dickie Divers turned on Taylor Bryden, attacked him after the match, effectively kicked him out of the contingency plan, effectively dissolved it, I think, and both men have gone their separate ways. We've seen the issues both men have with each other. If you saw 7 Deadly Sins, you know exactly what I mean. Both men interfering in each other's matches in the quarterfinals, as both Divers and Bryden were involved in the tournament. And as a consequence, neither of them advanced into the semi-finals, which I'm sure Divers was happy Bryden didn't advance, and Bryden would be happy that Divers didn't advance. Of course, that means that neither man was within any kind of hope of getting that main event championship match at Resolution later in the year. See Diver just holding on to the ropes. He knows what Musso can do, knows what he brings to the table. And Musso knows all too well how dangerous Divers is. You want to talk about versatile, there's very, very little he cannot do. Name a style of wrestling and Divers is usually very, very good at it. And he wants a test of strength. Musso's got a bemused look on his face. He is the slightly taller of the two men. He's got a bit of a weight advantage as well. Of course, being the taller, he'll have that leverage advantage because he can just have to press down upon Divers. The taller man usually has the advantage in this kind of situation. But who knows what Divers has up his sleeve, albeit a metaphorical one currently. Just one hand into the waist. He's jockeying for position here. And Divers pick up a good fight, but as Musso gets the better of it. Divers may be regretting that now. And Divers takes the easy way out, kicks out Musso, now working on his fingers it looks like. This is one of these situations where Divers has to be kind of cautious, because if he does anything too extreme and gets disqualified, Musso wins to become the first ever champion. Now we've seen Musso certainly in the past maybe couple of months, he's been very championship focused. Of course he's had some matches with Blondie Barrett for the heavyweight title. As Divers stamps on his hand and make things difficult for Mike Musso. Can't really throw somebody around when your hand doesn't work. We saw it 7 Deadly Sins on the first night of that in Musselburgh. Then it was Mike Musso versus Blondie Barrett for the heavyweight title. And Musso wants to hopefully get himself another title opportunity in the not too distant future. Of course he's going to have the Wrestling Showdown trophy in his hand, or ideally will by the end of the night. We'll just see how that goes. He's fighting away. Punches Divers in the corner, who greets him with the back elbow. Absolutely jammed it into Musso's jaw. That beard won't have provided much padding. Musso vaults over Divers, vaults over him again, ducks under a clothesline, and a hip toss, and goes straight for a cover as well. Musso not going to hang around. Again, somebody will make history here within probably the next few minutes, I would guess. The Diver slips out, and right in the back of the head, just slugged Musso. Knew what was coming, slipped out that body slam attempt, and has got Musso down, just punched him right in the back of the skull. Musso's last year in Showdown at the end of May, taking on Matsuo Kazuma. And it was a much easier task it seemed than he's having now, because Divers is controlling this match. Consider that Divers has mainly been a tag team championship holder. He's had singles title shots of course, but nothing's ever stuck with him. But multiple tag team title reigns, so if he were to become the first Wrestling Showdown champion, a big accolade for Divers, who just smacks Musso. Knew what he was going for. That's the problem with Musso, is that some of the stuff he does all the time. As Diver just snaps his neck on the top rope. So if you've watched some of Musso's matches, you can almost anticipate what's coming next. Hit a couple and nearly went for the next one, and Diver just followed him into the ropes and smacked him with that forearm, and then just leg drops Musso right across the back of the skull. So you can see how Divers managed to turn things around, and that's just familiarity with his opponent. That's where sometimes wrestling somebody you faced before can be so difficult. Hang on, Divers, go straight for a cover, go win the title here, because you know what they're going to do, and as a consequence you can kind of prepare for it, avoid certain things. Well, of course, avoiding one of Musso's knee lifts and defeating him to become the first ever Wrestling Showdown champion are two different things, and it'll be interesting to see who the first challenger for the Wrestling Showdown championship is going to be. Management, no doubt planning that as we speak. There's a facebuster by Musso. And there's a knee lift. Divers bouncing around all over the place. Musso took a couple of seconds to pull him back into position, go for the cover. But it's not enough. Perhaps if Musso had gotten to Divers quicker, he might have perhaps got the 3 count, but it was not to be. Now he hooks up his legs in that Indian deathlock. He's not used this in quite a while, actually. Bridges back, wrenching away at Divers, pulling at the chin. Divers been bent in half the wrong way. He's going to be all sorts of pain. Referee just getting right in there, just to make sure that Divers doesn't get up. And he gets a rope. He reaches out to grab the bottom rope. Really good ring position by Dickie Divers. Didn't have to crawl to it. I didn't have to expend too much energy. I don't think he noticed it initially, but he got a hand out, grabbed the rope. Musso had to break it, and Divers rolls on the apron because you can't be pinned or submitted on the ring apron. Looks like Musso's going to bring him back into the ring the hard way. That's exactly what he does. Big vertical suplex. Musso covers yet again. He could become the first Wrestling Showdown Champion. But if he is, it won't just be yet. Divers kicking out. He almost got a suplex right the way across the ring. Musso's a tall man. It's a long distance for Divers to go. And he fires back. That's the thing with Divers. Can't ever count him out. And again, targeting the back of Musso's head. Runs right into the knee. Musso off the ropes again. Runs right in the boot. And both have the same idea and clothesline each other at the same time. What a lovely exchange we saw there. A knee, a boot, and both men hitting a clothesline. I'm assuming if the match goes to a draw, management would rematch them possibly. I'm not entirely sure. We need to crown a champion of some kind. Can't imagine management want to start up yet another tournament, but you never know. Both men stumbling up to their feet. There's a Divers up first. Musso catches him and slams him down and goes to the big splash. Hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. Oh, so close there. Musso stringing those moves together. Drops Divers, splashes him right for a cover. What's Musso going to set for now? Launches him across the ring, then clotheslines him. Go for it again. Oh, it's avalanche this time. Divers stumbling and takes a backdrop. Didn't get a huge amount of height. Musso's a tall man. Divers came down almost head first. I think he's alright, but that could have been a nasty landing for him. But he's down after just checking on him, as you saw. And this gives Musso ample opportunity to start scaling the turnbuckles. No doubt in preparation for the elbow drop. But wait, Divers is up. And he just cuts Musso off. Now he's going to climb the ropes. We're going to see a superplex here. Both men fighting on the ropes. Oh, and his Divers gets dropped down face first. Gourd buster off the ropes. That wasn't what he wanted. And now Musso hits the elbow drop. Drives it into Divers' chest. I think we've got ourselves a brand new Wrestling Showdown champion. Dickie Divers kicks out. Now that's a surprise. That was so close as well. Musso hit the elbow drop. He's beaten people with that before. Dropping all his weight on the chest of Dickie Divers. But Divers kicks out. Which I think should go some way towards showing you just how important that championship is to him. Let's just go over the shoulder. Blunt force trauma coming up. Divers slips out. Runs him right in the corner. Oh, and knees him right in the face. And now just throttling him. A lot of targeting Musso's head and neck there's been in this match. Irish whip. Musso the reversal. Oh, Iron! Reversed it again. The referee has been flattened. Divers is up and dropped down the blunt force trauma right on his head. He's going to be 1 foot shorter now. Musso slapping the mat, saying he's got the pinfall, and to be fair he would have done, but the referee's unconscious. An Irish whip. Go away with it. It's Blondie Barrett, the heavyweight champion, belt in hand. Dives in the ring and just slugs Musso. That's a heavy belt. There's a thick metal plate on it. He just dropped it over Musso's head. And they're wanting Divers to cover him. Divers no pulling Musso back up to his feet, it looks like. Barrett trying to revive the referee. Diver just adds insult to injury. Referee doesn't know what the hell's going on. She's wondering why Barrett's in the ring. And he counts to 3, bell rings, and Dickie Divers makes history by becoming the first ever Wrestling Showdown Champion. So Divers wins it, but it took some help from Blondie Barrett, smacking Musso with the title belt. Clearly the issues between Barrett and Musso have not been settled, but Divers has got the trophy. He is the first ever Wrestling Showdown Champion. And Barrett continuing the assault. Looks like John Short's going to come to Mike Musso's aid here. And Musso's kicked out of the ring, and Barrett and Divers celebrating. Both men are champions, but I'm sure the list of contenders is queuing up to face them here in the coming weeks on Wrestling Showdown.
History is made, ladies and gentlemen, as Dickie Divers becomes the inaugural Wrestling Showdown Champion, although not without some help from Blondie Barrett, as you saw. Divers can't rest in his laurels, however. W3L management are already lining up challenges for him, and I can reveal to you that on Saturday, August 4th, in the Ice Arena in Kirkcaldy, as we present the Showdown Summer Spectacular, Divers will be defending the Wrestling Showdown Championship. Who will he be defending it against? We'll reveal that to you in the coming weeks, so make sure you do not miss an episode of Showdown, you'll find that out. Now, speaking of Barrett, he obviously involved himself in the match you have just seen. His issues with Mike Musso clearly not settled. It was that interference and Barrett's actions at 7 Deadly Sins that have precipitated management into acting here on Showdown next week. They have decided to grant Mike Musso a rematch for the heavyweight title, which you will see next week here on Showdown. But they are giving it special rules. They are going to make it a best 2 out of 3 falls match. The first 2 falls will be fought under traditional British wrestling rules with timed rounds. If a third fall is required, the manager have decided that after all the bad blood and all the animosity and all the cheating that's been going on, that they will throw caution to the wind and let Musso and Barrett do whatever it takes to decide the victor. Fall number 3 will be a street fight match. So that's our best of 3 falls match, with falls 1 and 2 in the traditional British wrestling rules, and fall number 3 a street fight. Anything can and more likely will happen. Blondie Barrett may be in the toughest championship defence of his reign, but as we have seen in previous weeks here in Showdown, he always finds a way to walk out with a title. Can Musso regain the heavyweight title that's eluded him for so long? You'll find it by being here next week. I'll tell you how to do that in just a sec. Remember though, on Saturday, August 4th, it's the Ice Arena in Kirkcaldy, it's the Showdown Summer Spectacular. Divers will be defending his newly won Wrestling Showdown Championship. Colt Cabana is making his W3L debut. A whole bunch more besides I'll be telling you about in the weeks to come. To get tickets for that show, you go to our website. We're at W3LWrestling.com. Buy them there. You can of course join us on Facebook and Twitter as well. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, because next week that heavyweight title match is one you do not want to miss. Use the hashtag W3L Wrestling Showdown. Tell us what you think will happen. Can Barrett retain the title again? Will Musso become champion for what I believe will be the 5th time? Will something else happen? Tell us who you want to see at the Ice Arena show. Who should Colt Cabana face? Interact with us here in W3L and come back here in 7 days' time. It is one of the biggest heavyweight championship matches you have ever presented. Best 2 out of 3 falls. Traditional British wrestling rules. A possible street fight if a third fall is needed. Mike Musso challenges Blondie Barrett. What's going to happen? Be back here in 7 days and you can find out.